So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, and the iPhone SE 2 is on the way. In this video, I thought I'd share with you 15 predictions on what is coming with this, supposed gadget that is rumored to be built in a manufacturing plant in Wistron in India. So definitely the iPhone SE sales have been pretty amazing when it comes to the India market, and so with that being said, they are going to be building the second generation over there, and then it will be dispersed across the world through trade and stuff like that. So it will be coming to US, so I will be reviewing it here, so you might want to be subscribed to the channel if you want to see content on that when it does arrive. So my first prediction for the iPhone SE 2 is an Apple A10 Fusion chip that's a quad-core CPU with 2 GB of RAM. So unlike the iPhone 7 Plus, it's not going to get 3 gigs of RAM, it's going to get more like what the iPhone 7 had with the A10 with a combination of 2 gigs of RAM. The iPhone SE is already extremely powerful, so that'll already make it just more powerful. So my second prediction is the iPhone SE 2, whatever they're gonna call it, 2018, who knows, will have 2 storage sizes. So the SE 2 will have 64 gigabytes and 128 gigabytes. That's actually the same as what it has right now if you were to walk into an Apple store. And it's nice to see that we do have a larger storage capacity for people who do use this as their main phone. Now for me right now, the SE 2 or the SE currently is kind of a side phone that I use for, portability when I go out and take shots. And I just want something really light and compact to use one thumb. That's when I use the Apple iPhone SE currently. So it's nice to see that we do have a smaller storage capacity for people who want it as like a side phone, and we have a larger storage capacity for people who want it as their main device. I do expect to see the iPhone SE 2 increase in battery size, and at number 3 is that. So it will increase in battery size. Right now we're looking at a 1624 milliamp hour battery in our current devices. The next one I see to go like to 1700, maybe 1721 on the milliamp hours, and that's gonna make for even better battery life, because we all know right now that the SE was one of the best iPhones for battery life in the past couple of years, but iOS 11 kind of, didn't do too many great wonders for the current device. So expect that to happen for the next phone. My fourth prediction, I do want to talk about the price for the upcoming device. I do expect this device to fall in the category of $400 to $500. I wouldn't even be surprised if Apple started at $450, maybe $469, and then for the higher capacity, $550 to $569. As the prices of all the iPhones have been climbing, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like $20 more for the iPhone SE 2, as they've just been raising the prices on pretty much every iPhone. So we'll have to see how that goes, but it's definitely going to be in the mid-range price point, right around like the OnePlus 5T territory of phones. So coming in at number 5 for the Apple iPhone SE 2 is going to be a glass back. So the iPhone 10 has a glass back, whereas the SE has a metal casing here. Now, the reason why I do believe Apple will do this is because, all the other iPhones do support wireless charging, so you can put your iPhone on a wireless charging pad, plug it in, it's very convenient. The iPhone 8 and the 8 Plus also support this, so seeing this come to the SE, it's not a huge deal to go ahead and add a little glass back on the rear. That I think will happen, and when that happens, you'll be able to be just like the other iPhones, be able to wireless charge. So I see that coming. I'm not sure if it'll be fast charging, but it should support that. Coming in number 6 for the iPhone SE is going to be the camera. So this camera, I believe, is going to be 60 frames per second. I think Apple's going to go all out here, and they're going to give you the iPhone 8 camera, the one that's in the smaller 8, not the dual camera in the 8 Plus and in the iPhone 10, but I do believe we are going to get the iPhone 8 camera. Now, I know a lot of sources are saying iPhone 7, but hear me out here. If you remember correctly, the iPhone SE 2, or the first one, came out right after the 6S, about 4 or 5 months later in February, the following year after announcement of the 6S, and it gave you basically the camera from the 6S. So the iPhone 8 comes out, it would just make sense that Apple would put what is in the iPhone 8 in the iPhone SE 2. I see a lot of people saying the 7, but I do think that 60 FPS in the iPhone 8's camera system is coming to the SE 2. Coming in at number 7, the SE 2 does get 2nd gen Touch ID. I mean, it's just needed by now. 2 generations of this smartphone, even 3 actually, well actually 2, 5S and SE give you 1st gen Touch ID. It's time that the SE gets 2nd gen Touch ID. No Face ID coming to this phone. That just wouldn't make sense. No other iPhone has it. Why would they put it on their cheapest phone? I don't see that coming at all to the SE. So you are gonna get second gen Touch ID. This is a must here for the next version of the SE2. Well, let's talk about the screen with the iPhone SE2. So the first generation, as you can see right here out of my hand, this is basically the Retina display, 326 pixels per inch that we're all used to by now. Now, this is a tricky one. I do believe we might see a slightly upgraded resolution, but if we don't, hear me out on this one. I believe we're gonna see a iPhone SE with a higher contrast ratio, the same pixels per inch as this one, but true tone and a punched up contrast ratio and P3 color gamut. So that's where I really think Apple might go with this to keep the cost down. And I'm not sure if they're gonna make a bigger screen here. They might actually keep the front of this phone looking the same, but with a glass back and an upgraded, calibrated display in terms of P3. Again, like I said, you know, it's gonna have a higher contrast ratio, so punchier, and it also should have, you know, true tone. So that might happen, but we might see a higher resolution as well. So at number 9, iPhone SE2 is going to remove the headphone jack. They're gonna axe this thing. It's gone. Forget about it. Forget about it. It's just gone. We're not gonna see a headphone jack on the future iPhone SE. Now, if we do, that would be pretty shocking, and it would be really good news. But my predictions are this is gone, and that brings me on to number 10, which is stereo speakers. Now, the SE has one of the tiniest speakers in the entire iPhone lineup, and to see upgraded speakers would be nice for this smartphone. So I do think we're seeing stereo speakers coming to iPhone SE2. At number 11, the iPhone SE2 will bring water resistance, IP67, as has been found in the other iPhones in the lineup. So keep that in mind. If you are looking for, you know, a little bit splash resistance, I think that's coming to iPhone SE2. It would just be highly likely to happen on this next phone. So the next one that the iPhone SE2 is going to bring is Bluetooth 5.0. This is something a lot of people don't talk about, but it's actually very crucial to the future of Bluetooth devices, as it's much faster than the 4.2 in the SE2. What this basically means is that when you have more connected devices, like, you know, the Apple HomePod is coming out, the Apple AirPods, any of that stuff that goes Bluetooth, it's immediate in terms of connections in comparison to 4.2, which is a little bit slower. Now, 4.2 is not bad at all, but 5.0 is the future, and that's going to be coming to the SE2. So for my 14th prediction on this list, I do want to talk about the launch date of Apple's iPhone SE2. I expect this to arrive late February, launch in early March. It might even be launching late February, but it is expected to arrive in the first quarter, which means it has to come around that time frame. And it only makes sense because WWDC launches, you know, later around June, so it would make sense to have two things, you know, just before each other. So you would have the SE event, then you have WWDC, and then you would have the iPhone 11 or the 3 iPhones that are coming next year, that event later in September, as we have every year. So expect it around that time frame if this does happen, which is highly likely to happen. And my 14th prediction for this next upcoming smartphone is the colors. I think that we're gonna see 3 different colors of the SE as we did with the iPhone 8. We're gonna see a space gray, we're gonna see a silver, and we're gonna see that gold that you see on the iPhone 8. Now, if they don't decide to bring that gold, my other prediction would be 2 colors. So just space gray, the gray we see on iPhone 8, and a silver, because they did that with the iPhone 10. If they're really trying to cut costs and they don't want to make another device, they can just do that by making 2 color options. So it's either going to be 3 or 2 color options, but I do really strongly think we're getting that glass back on the next SE. And my last prediction comes with the front-facing camera. Right now we have a 1.2 megapixel camera on the SE, and the SE2 I do believe is going to see a 7 megapixel front-facing camera, potentially a 5 megapixel that was featured on the old 6S. We'll see where it goes, but even with this 1.2 megapixel, you were still able to get pretty good front-facing quality with the SE. It's nothing mind-blowing, but it works, it'll get the job done. In the future though, on this next phone, we should see 5 to 7 megapixels on that front-facing camera. Still not going to do 2K resolution recording on the front, but still should give you 1080p versus the 720p on this current smartphone right now. So those are my current predictions for the SE2. This is really highly likely to happen, and I'm pretty excited about this because I've been getting pretty bored of the SE. It's getting to feel stale like an old smartphone. Yes, it's still fast. Yes, I know it has great battery. Yes, it's a good value, cheap phone, really fast phone. I get it. It's still a one-thumber. But at the same time, I'm looking for an upgrade on my SE. I've been using this phone for quite some time, along with the iPhone 10 and the other smartphones. The SE is in need of an upgrade. So it's gonna be very exciting to see that. So subscribe to see all the content that's gonna be coming with that phone when it does arrive to the channel. If you found this video helpful, enjoyable, entertaining, informing, do me a favor, click the like button for me. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, feedbacks, drop it down below in the comment section of this video. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.